Hello and welcome to Zeke's Creations. Today I'm going to be stringing the tendons in the fingers for Miss Kayla's prosthetic hand. I'm filming in a different spot right now because my spot that I filmed the other videos in this series, it's not close enough to my computer, so it would be hard to see the instructions. But, so today I have most of the stuff I think I need right here. I have this high strength fishing line to act as the tendons, a measuring tape for cutting it, some screws to screw on the rubber tensioners, and then just a bag of some other parts of the prosthetic hand, including the tensioners. So I believe to start, I just need to cut 4 700mm sections of fishing line. So these can just go over there for a moment. So I'm going to use that just to get a slit in there, and I'll get this opened up. So I'm going to break off this end here with this sticker there, and let's see. Now, before I cut the first one, I'm going to measure out the 70 centimeters. So then I can just sort of set the string next to it and get it cut. So I'm going to need to cut one of these sections for each finger. So this is 80-pound braided fishing string. I tried, based on the specifications that the design gave, I found some of the strongest I could. Let's see. Let's see, what else do I have? Turns out my 3D printer clippers aren't really great for cutting fishing lines, so let's see if these scissors I just grabbed will work. Those aren't too great either, but it'll work. Real quick, just measure it to make sure. Yep, that's about the right length. I'm gonna need 3 more of those. And let's see if I can't cut the end off of this just so it's a little nicer. None of these ends are coming off too great. I'll probably have to grab a lighter soon. There's another roughly 700. Okay, now that works better for cutting it. And quick measure, that seems to be about the right length. Just 2 more of those. Okay, that's 3. Last one. Okay, that's the 4 strings I need. I'm gonna tie off that end, get some of the trash off this table, and then I'll move on to the next part. So, the instructions for this model tell you to put the strings on before the fingers are connected. But with the material I had for the hinges at the time, it was very hard to get the fingers on, so I'm instead going to end up trying to string the tendons now with the hand like this. So I'll go ahead and start with the pinky. So basically, for each finger, the string is going to run from here all the way up to the finger and then loop around and go back. So I'm going to have to push each string through twice. Sorry about that. That is, this is not my regular filming setup, and it's a bit awkward to work with. Okay, there we go. I got it through the first one. Now I have to string it back. This is being a bit of a pain to get through. I'm going to grab some tweezers to help. I got this set of tweezers for Christmas, and I think this will end up being pretty useful for 3D printing stuff. Let's see. It's still being quite the pain. There we go, though. I got it. Now I have to string it back through each hole. And there we go. You can see that it came out the other end. To finish it off, I just need to string it through to meet here. So I'm pulling on a bit, it's a bit hard to see, but you can see the finger working. And so now I have to string the other 3 fingers. Okay, got it through most of them. Okay, I have it through the end, and now I just have to loop it back. Okay, got that all the way through. That's 2 fingers done. There it is peeking through on the other side. Loop it back around. Okay, now I just string it back the rest of the way. Gotta straighten out a bit first, though. Okay, here it is on the other end. Just one more to string through, and then I'll have to look at how to tie them off to the tensioners. It's already through the first segment of the finger, so I'm just gonna feed it through here and get it looped back around. Now I just feed it through the last two parts, and I'll be done stringing them at least. There we go. They're all four strung through. And you'll notice that there is a fifth gap and a fifth hole right there, and that's just because, even though the thumb wasn't removed, the rest of it wasn't modified, but that doesn't really affect anything. So now I'm going to look at my computer and see how I need to tie the knots. Okay, to start, I need to grab the tensioners. Now look back at the instructions. Okay. I'm going to have to prepare by getting the tensioners on there in temporary locations. Need to confirm that I'm using the right size screws. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to need 4 M2 screws, which are in the bottom row. I think M8 will probably do just fine for this. Or, well, let's look at the length. And I can probably get away with M10. M2 10 ones. Let's see. So there's the 4 screws. And that's just basic Phillips head. Think this should work just fine. So what the instructions say I need to do is take the tensioner and screw them, put it with the screws in the smaller hole. Forgot that was magnetic for a second. And screw them into the second row of holes here. I feel like the screws are probably a bit small, but I can switch them out later if needed. Okay, and then I'm going to repeat that for all 4. Okay. So this is what they look like with all 4 screwed in. And what I'm going to have to do for each one is run 1 string through the large hole from underneath. And now I just repeat that for each one. And this is really where I can see that those screws definitely are too small, because it's the holes are just sort of sliding over the heads of the screws. So I will definitely have to switch out the size once I'm done with this stuff. And I will probably also have to switch out the tensioners in the future, which probably won't be a fun process, but it also just depends how this works out. Right now I'm testing it out, and I'll see really what I have to do once those steps are over. Okay, so that's all 4 of them run through. And now here comes the fun part. I need to have it like this with all the strings taut while I tie knots. So it's recommended to place it between your knees to do that. So I'll see if I can set up the camera for that. Okay, so I'm gonna have to work it roughly like this. And let's pull the string taut before I start. So I need to tie what's called a reef knot for each of these. All right, let's see. Trying to use their little manual that that's included in the instructions for this. This is definitely not what I'd call a tutorial for a reef knot. But I believe I have my first one done right there. And now let's just try to get that bit taut. It's not perfect. But once again, this is a prototype. I bet I'll be a lot better at reef knots once I'm making more of these. So now I just repeat that process a couple of times. Yeah, I'll definitely have to learn how to keep the knots tight while I am tying them. Because you can see that there's loose, that the string's a bit loose where they are. Let's see. Of course. Trying to keep my computer on while I do this. Okay. This is the third one that I'm working on right now. That was definitely probably my worst one right there. Now, last one right here. Okay, so that's the 4 reef knots done. As you can see, it isn't perfectly taut, but it's really close. Now I'm going to check my computer and see what the next step is. Okay, so here, after looking at my computer, the next step is a surgeon's knot. Yeah, this one's gonna be fun, just looking at their diagram. I don't think I got that right, but I think I got it close enough. Now repeat that close enough knot on the other 3. Okay. That's 3. Last one. So as you can see, each of the fingers isn't perfect and stuff, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab a slightly larger screw, probably like a M3. I'm going to switch out the screws used here. If it'll work. I think these will be fine. And while I'm at that, I will do the next step in this process, which is moving the tensioners up so this is all normal. Okay, let's get these removed. So right now these are all set to the second row of holes. It says to move them up 4. And then from there, I think I can sort of just adjust as needed. Okay, so yep, that seems a bit better for just the size of the screws. And also, I'm sorry if the lighting's bad. Once again, this is not my more normal filming spot for this series. This is just what I had to do so I could actually know what I was doing. That's 2 of them. Okay, last one. Right here. Let's see. You can see the hand automatically evened out there. Now I just get that screwed in. And once again, I'll have to adjust each finger. But look at that. And I think the tensioners will have to be replaced as well with something softer or something. But look at that. Okay, and after just moving it a bit, it's already easier. So in the next video, I will be putting on the palm cover and the tensioner cover, and I don't know, I'm not sure what else. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for all the support that has helped me get here. Once again, I have credited the original designer in the description. And if you'd like to help support this project, I have my GoFundMe linked below. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed.